Need some nice, cozy, comforting dishes, and this is something you can do the day before, put it in your refrigerator, pop it in the oven right before the guests hit, and you're set. And let me teach you guys how to get this going. What we're going to do is start off with a yellow onion, small, and we're just going to dice it. I did a little bit of peeling before I arrived, but basically my technique in dicing is to cut this into 3 layers. And guess what? My knife is on fire. It is so hot from the sun that I can barely hold it. So here we go. And then I make little cuts. She did. She wanted me to really burn it up in the kitchen, I guess. So once we make these elongated cuts, and you don't go all the way through, you leave this end piece intact, and that'll allow you to very easily dice a small onion. Thank you. And you get to the end, you just kind of finish it off.
A lot of people don't know how to do that.
So there you go. Yeah, it's really simple. You just want to make sure you use your cloth. You don't want to cut through your fingers. That would not be fun. No, I don't recommend it. Although I think every chef has at least done that once. That's part of the initiation, right, of being a chef. Right? Sorry, my knife is literally on fire. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to start to saute these onions on low heat. And the reason I'm going low heat is because I just want it to go low and slow, and I like a little bit of caramelization on my onions for this dish. It adds some depth of flavor. And we're also going to pretend that there's boiling water that's coming to a boil, okay? We're gonna put on our imagination caps for today. So once the onions go in, I like to personally add a little bit of salt to my onions if I want to caramelize them. I find that they bring the water out and just allow the onions to cook a little bit further. And it just works really good for me. So you're gonna let those go, again, like medium low, and then that way you don't have to look at them that often. If you didn't have that much time, you could definitely go on medium, no problem. But you just have to maintain them with your eyes and stir them a bit more so that you don't get too much browning on the edges. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're going to use our cauliflower. Cauliflowers are a wonderful vegetable, especially in the winter. It's around October that they come into season until about February when they're at their peak. And the beautiful thing about cauliflowers is, you know, broccoli gets a lot of play for being a healthy vegetable, and it is. And so is cauliflower. And the thing about cauliflower is you can do, I think, so much more with it. You can cook it raw. I mean, you can cook with it in a raw state. It's also wonderful for substituting mashed potatoes. So it's just adding some new textures and flavors to your life. It's cancer fighting, antioxidant. It helps heart and brain function. It's really a great vegetable. So everybody give it a try. I like to take the leaves off personally with my fingers. My little trick is I use my meat knife to get into the base of the core. It's a lot easier than using this big bulky knife. And you can kind of precisely just cut the core out like that. And then just using your hands to break the florets off. For this dish, we want them to be pretty uniform in size, around like that. So the ones that are larger, we're just going to cut those in half. We want them to be large enough that they don't disappear, because we will be doing a lot of cooking with them. We're going to start off by boiling them in salted water, and then we're going to finish it off in the pan in the oven. So there's 2 cooking techniques going on in this dish. And here we go. So here you see we have all of this. Now we're going to pretend again we have this boiling water. So let me tell you a bit about salt and what I believe about it. For years I used kosher salt, and I was I thought it was the best thing on earth. And then I started doing a little bit of research, and I found that natural sea salt is a bit healthier for us, and it's unprocessed. It has a lot of great minerals that our bodies don't get in our diets the way that our food is grown today. So what I do is I buy this particular salt for salting my food, but for methods of like putting salt in water, I just get the cheaper version at Trader Joe's. So these are my two favorite salts. I like this for my water, and this is what I use to salt my food. So you want to pretty well salt your water. I'll show you about what I use. It's kind of like you think of the natural ocean salt in the water. That's kind of the flavor you're looking for. And you are going to add your cauliflower in here for 5 minutes at a rolling boil. So the next step after we get our cauliflower to the 5-minute mark, the recipe calls for an ice bath. And I believe it's a really good thing. And it's even better if you're in a restaurant because you have a dishwasher that cleans all your dishes for you. But let's be honest, we're at home and it's really a lot of work. So for a quick, don't worry about it. This will not really kill the dish. You can just use something like this or a strainer and just make sure that you get all of the water out of the cauliflower before you put it into this pan. And I would say if you let it just sit like that for about 2 or 3 minutes, the water will drain and you'll be fine. But if you're really, really interested in doing it to the T, then what you do is you take your bowl with water and ice, and basically the concept is you're shocking the cauliflower quickly so that it stops cooking as soon as you take it out of the water. For this dish, I don't know. I think personally it's just not necessary, but it's a good thing. It's definitely a time-honored technique. And it's a fun thing to do with your kids. Kids love to do things like that. So once you have, of course I'm in boiling water and burning my hands terribly. I'm such a seasoned chef, I can just reach into the boiling water. And you have strained your cauliflower. We're going to keep it aside. And we're going to finish what's going on in here. So fast forward, it's about 3 or 5 minutes. If it was in a home kitchen, your onions will start to caramelize. I will add, I did add a little bit of butter to my dish. It doesn't call for it in the recipe, but I love butter. And I just think it adds another depth of flavor. So it's 50-50, half olive oil and half butter. And once you get the onions to that nice caramely color, which is not looking like that right now, you're going to take your garlic. For this dish, because we're putting it in the oven, I chose not to cook my garlic any further in the pan. I'm literally just throwing it in and allowing the heat to let the aromas come out. The best way, sorry I'm fumbling here because my knife is really hot still, but basically the quickest way to peel a garlic clove is to put your chef's knife over it and just hit it with the back of your palm, and that will easily remove the peel. Sorry, usually it does. So once you do that, do another nice smash. And crushing that, you just run your knife through until it's nice and chopped up. Adding a little bit of salt to your garlic also helps soften it up and quickly allows you to put it into a paste. But for this dish, I like a little bit of bite. So I'm going to keep my garlic a little chunky. So we're going to add our garlic to the pan. And again, just let it sit there in the heat. And we are going to prepare our parsley. We're just going to take it, and I've washed it previously. Excuse me, I've got a little garlic there. We're going to bunch it up. The easiest way to chop herbs is just to kind of keep it in a tight bunch and then run your knife through it once. And if you want a little finer chop, once you get to that point, you just take it and run it through a few more directions and you're good to go. We'll set that aside, and then we are going to come to our olives, which are right here. So this recipe, which I will tell you, this is not my recipe. This is a recipe that a chef wrote in a book, and it's a really beautiful recipe. I thought, why fix something that's not broken? It's a wonderful recipe, and I have it with me today, and I'm actually completely blanking on the name of the chef, but I will give you the name of this wonderful lady who has written many cookbooks, and she is master at cooking vegetables. And this is a dish very healthy. The fun thing about adding olives to a dish is you're adding antioxidants. Again, you're kind of getting a 1-2 punch in this dish because both of these are antioxidant vegetables. They both are heart-healthy vegetables, cancer-fighting. So you're really adding 2 really strong members of health to your diet. And once you pit the olives, so it's really easy, you basically cut it in half. And this olive per se is a Sicilian cured black olive. And you're just going to take the pit out and separate the 2. My grandmother, Lucia, who owned Lucia's restaurant, she has fond memories. Her family was Sicilian, her parents. She was born in New Jersey, but her grandfather had an Italian grocery store, and she grew up basically selling olives and all kinds of fun things, standing on a crate at age 5. And she said her parents' favorite way to prepare these olives at home was to take a hot pan with a little bit of olive oil, some garlic slices, and some red chili flakes, and just saute these olives until they got a little bit crispy. And she said they were so tasty, and I was really blessed to be able to sit at a table and eat that type of dish with her. So we're going to be enjoying a dish that she loved dearly. Okay. So once our onion mixture is finished and our cauliflower is finished, we are going to take, again, odes to Sicilian anything today. We're doing Sicilian olive oil, and just lightly coating our pan. Our oven is at 375, and we are going to add our cauliflower that has been cooked. And we are going to add, where is my spoon, our onions, garlic, and olive butter oil. Turn that off. We're going to mix it up, and we're going to be adding pecorino romano cheese, one of my personal favorites. It's a sheep milk cheese, and it's very famous in Rome, and they use it quite a bit instead of Parmesan cheese. I like it. It's a little earthier, and it's easier to digest because it comes from the sheep rather than the cow. And once you add half of your cheese, you again kind of shift it around, and then you're going to take your beautiful olives, sprinkle them on top, and your parsley, and finish it off with a little bit more cheese. Cheese is always good. And it's a gratin. So a gratin is a dish that is basically covered with oil and cheeses, and it's browned in the oven. So here we go. This is the almost ready dish. It would go in the oven for about 20 to 30 minutes, depending on your oven's heat. I personally like things a little extra crispy, so what I do is right at the very end I pop on my broiler and allow the little bits of the ends of the cauliflower with the cheese to get a little extra toasty. I'm going to show you here what our finished product looks like. So here we go. This is Sicilian style cauliflower gratin with black cured olives. No, I do not. But I'm sorry. Yes, any questions?